We were constantly switching agencies, thinking someone would finally understand our brand and what we do. We were spending lots of money with them as well. And then I pitched to our leadership team to bring in an in-house agency. We started a pilot and they saw that there was cost savings and brand consistency scores were going up.
This is the In-House Podcast, a series where leaders in in-house marketing and advertising tell their stories. I'm Craig Tepper, the co-founder of In.Studio, a digital production consultancy for in-house agencies. We're producing this podcast to create a community where best practices, advice, and hard-learned lessons from our friends and colleagues across the industry can be shared. Today we talk to Mandy Janicki, the head of the corporate creative team at UL Solutions. You've probably noticed the UL mark on most of the devices in your home that have a power plug. In addition to testing and certification, UL Solutions has a huge offering of B2B services in the safety science space, and they're supported by their global in-house agency. Mandy not only leads that team, but she founded and built out their capabilities. She's spent her whole career in-house and was kind enough to offer details about process and insights from her years of experience. And now, in her own words, Mandy Janicki of UL Solutions.
I'm Mandy Janiki. I'm the head of our corporate creative team at UL Solutions. I'm sure you're wondering who UL Solutions is. UL Solutions brings safety science to life, helping businesses solve pressing challenges and innovate with confidence. Most people recognize us for our mark, which is on many household products like your phone charger or microwave, many of your appliances. We are a B2B company, and we're also global. UL Solutions has a wide range of services that we offer, anywhere from software to indoor air quality, sustainability, also cybersecurity. We have a full in-house agency under our brand team, and we serve our brand strategy team as well as our internal stakeholders. When I mean internal stakeholders, that's the HR team, communications team, IT, many of our shared services team, leadership, executives, all encompass our shared service. Our services cover large campaigns, like a brand campaign. So that could be YouTube, LinkedIn, Google banner ads, as well as our brochures and white papers and videos. And then we also have the internal communications, which might be like our core values or our employee value proposition campaigns, or our town halls, or our different initiatives internally as well. We have creative strategists, we have designers, videographers, copywriters, and project managers. And as a team, we deliver full campaigns. So we might have social banners, LinkedIn banners, as well as YouTube videos. Our video studio is fully in-house, so we have a video studio in Northbrook. They also travel to some of our labs if we have a lab opening. They do all the production of our videos as well. And then we also have our copywriters, so they'll be writing the scripts, or they might be writing SME bios, and our project managers are project managers as well as account managers, so they're really close to our internal business partners and really help deliver the on-time projects for them. Our headquarters is in Northbrook. We also have a secondary headquarter in Singapore. Northbrook is in Illinois. UL Solutions started an in-house agency 9 years ago, and I was actually the one that helped spearhead it and prompt our leadership team to start our in-house agency. We were constantly switching agencies, thinking someone would finally understand our brand and what we do. As I mentioned, UL Solutions has a lot of service offerings. I don't think it's complex, but everybody outside of being here is not going to understand who UL Solutions is. So it really takes a long time to understand who UL Solutions is and all our service offerings. And that's where I saw when I joined UL Solutions that our agencies just really were not understanding our brand. We were spending lots of money with them as well. And then I pitched to our leadership team to bring in an in-house agency. We started a pilot and they saw that there was cost savings and brand consistency scores were going up. My process was really looking at what other companies' best practices were. So 10 years ago was roughly around, I would say, the rage of starting to bring the in-house agencies inward. So there wasn't a lot out there of how to do it or what does a good size team look like for our size of a company. I took my previous experience at other in-house agencies. My whole career has been in-house, so I had a lot of experience of knowing what good in-house agencies looked like, what bad in-house agencies looked like. And I also started to connect with A&A. A&A had just started reporting out on what good in-house agencies look like. So I took a lot of their research and insights and started crafting what a beginning in-house team would look like. So very small, a few designers, one project manager, and then as we started to see more video needs, and it was a little bit of video, and then as we continued to grow and our demand continued to grow as well, then I was able to look at A&A, look at A&A's other in-house agencies to see best practices for structures, for team size. I think roughly when I was in year 2 of building the in-house agency, Greg and his team at A&A started the in-house agency committee. So I joined their committee meetings and was able to talk to other peers about what they're doing, their team sizes, their structures, what was working, what their challenges were. And now it's a very large community of in-house agency leaders that lean on each other of what good looks like. Just like any company, right? I think we were at the beginning of in-house agencies, that mass growth trend that you saw for in-house, we were right at the beginning. So a lot of the research for some of our teams weren't out there. Like we wanted to grow globally. And I think I was one of the first ones to really talk about the successes and failures that we had as an in-house agency. So sometimes I leaned on the community and sometimes they leaned on me as well. I think the biggest difference of a good in-house agency and a bad in-house agency, I think there's 2 things. One is the way that they collaborate with their internal business partners. When you have an in-house team that fully separates as if they were an agency and they're taking tasks as if they were an agency, you're going to have that disconnect, and your internal business partners are going to treat you as such. So that partnership isn't there as much if you take down that wall. When you take down that wall, you see the collaboration, you see the trust, and that is where I find good in-house agencies thrive and stay within a company. When you have that wall up, it's easy to replace an agency with an agency. So an embedded in-house team is the biggest one. Managing demands and the morale are both very hard to do. And I think I've continued to learn over my 10 years here at UL Solutions, because every company is very different and their internal business partners are very different as well. And at UL Solutions, it was really important to have planning meetings with our internal business partners as well as quarterly planning meetings. So I have annual planning meetings. Right now I'm doing the forecasting for next year. And that helps with resourcing to make sure that I'm able to share with leadership what resourcing my team needs to meet all the demands. And then it goes into quarterly meetings with our internal business partners to say, all right, this is what you said you were going to do this quarter. Here's what it's looking like. We're either pretty close or like I have one internal business partner that we only took on one project instead of the 12 projects that we were supposed to take on in Q1. And so in those conversations, we ask, do we still need to do all of these 12 projects? Are they going to move to Q3 or are they going to be canceled? Because what we don't want is, Q3 to be heavy loaded with all the projects we didn't do in Q1. And now our internal project managers, they have access to these planning documents. And one of the exercises we do on a monthly basis is looking at those planning documents. If there's anything that isn't active in Q1, to reach out to those internal business partners to make sure to keep them moving, or to adjust on the fly to make sure we're deleting things. If we see in those quarterly meetings that there's a heavy fluctuating of projects that they're increasing. So if there's a internal business partner that just heavy loads us in Q1 versus spreading it out throughout the year, that's another conversation that I have with them. And that just really helps them hold themselves accountable. We're also accountable for it. So we share the accountability to continue moving forward. So they know that they can't just offload everything to us in one quarter, that I'm going to be keeping track of it, and that these planning sheets really help keep track of it as well. We, as a full marketing team, have teams globally. Our corporate in-house team really only handles a lot of the North America work that does come through. Our HR team does have local HR talent as well. So we continue to do translations for that team. That's kind of how we globalize there. But our business team, which is a separate team, they are now have global designers on their team that sit within some of the regions. I have seen an increase in workload every single year since it started. The demand continues to grow. Not only are our customers wanting to see more content, everybody wants to see more content. Everybody is on their phones or on social media, so we need to get out there in more and more channels. So that's where the content and demand is really driving from. I think the 1 year that we didn't see growth, sure, with many companies, was during COVID. And unlike many companies, we stayed flat. So we didn't dip in content. We actually just stayed flat year over year, which was a good thing. That made sure that we had the same team. We didn't have to let go headcount. Our consistency there was flat. And then after COVID, we continued to grow again. Remote work for us will always be necessary when it comes to design. Our designers are around the US. There's a lot of talent in Chicago where we're based, but we also have a lot of really great talent across the US that we really want to make sure we have the right people on our team that know our industry, that know B2B, and that can really hit our brand on target. So for me, that's what's most important. We do have a consistent hybrid model as well. We like to first recruit from Chicago and Northbrook area or anywhere around the US where we could have individuals in our office meeting our internal business partners. So there is that flexibility of hybrid for us, which is really great. Our video studio has grown a lot within the past 5 years. We have two rooms for a video studio, and one room is where we shoot all the videos, or executives might go down there. We also have a green screen. We have sets down there, so we've done stage designs. We also have all the equipment for teleprompters, and our other room is where, like if they're recording, we can have the editing bay. We also have a sound studio, a little area for makeup and coffee to make our leadership team feel comfortable. And then our video team has all the equipment to shoot in our labs. So we have carts that they put all of their video equipment on and are able to travel around our Northbrook campus or go to our Chicago campus or go to any of our labs and travel on flights as well. I think we have a pretty even split between our brand strategy support, our internal communication support, our HR support, and then our shared services support. So that's how we separate our teams and dedicate them to it. And I've seen a pretty consistent trend there as well. I think going into next year, we're seeing growth for our video team and needing more video. This year, we saw that it was increasing, and forecasting for next year, it's most likely going to double for our team. So I see that's where across the teams, it's not just communications, but also brand in our business. They're all needing to increase more video for more social. We use outside agencies very strategically in two manners. The first one is a lot of our production work. So anything that's very easy, templatized, goes to our agency, production agency. We have one that we really lean into. And then the second one is when I have those quarterly planning meetings with our internal business partners, and if there's a project that's out of scope and that we didn't plan on, we relook at our plan for that quarter and what projects can we give to that agency that our team doesn't need to do. Our team internally, we like to handle the very close to brand strategic work. If it's something that is templatized and or less of a high priority for leadership, but it's still a priority, it's just not high priority, we'll go to an agency. So we have a few agency of records. We've gone from, so I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, we went through a reorg where during that reorg, I looked at all the agencies we were using. We were using 60 plus agencies across marketing. That's a lot. So I worked with our marketers and our leaders, and we were able to comb down that list to 11. And our brand team had an agency of record that really looked at brand strategy, high level brand campaign and research that we could do. And that's where AOR really was at. It wasn't at the creative production standpoint. We spread that love to a few different agencies, and now we kind of have combed it down to a good 4 or 5 most recently, where we spread that love across the board. And a lot of it is production and or overflow. We measure success in a few different ways. In our planning process, as you just mentioned, we use our forecasting and measuring our actuals versus planned as a success. Did we meet our expectations? And then going into next year, what are those expectations as well? Are we going to continue to be on trend, or is it going to go over? And that's another measure of success. If we're seeing teams continue to want us and to grow, that's a measure of success in itself. They want to send us more work. In previous models, I've used an internal survey that did a net promoter score for internal business partners, and that is something that we're going to bring back next year. We just went through a reorg last year, so this year's really about level setting, getting our baseline metrics in place, and then next year we'll be heavy loaded in KPIs and reporting out. Our KPIs at the moment that we're able to report out on are number of rounds, and we've seen that decrease from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. That means that we're continuing to learn our internal business partners, know what they're asking for, and get to know them so that we're hitting the mark on the first round or 2 or 3 versus 6 rounds. So that's another measure of success that we do as well. And then we also have in there delivered on-time projects. And delivering on-time projects means that we're not only meeting our resource planning accuracy so that we can continue to accurately forecast our resources, but also that our internal business partners' deadlines are being met. The biggest challenge that my team faces as an in-house agency is getting closer to the right sized team. We went through a reorg last year, and I think as a reorg always starts out with is here's your resources, and for me, it's really trying to share with leadership the demand and what our team is really doing and how and where we need to go in the future. So I've been at UL Solutions for 10 years. My team has expanded and contracted as many in-house agencies teams. I was very grateful that during the last reorg, it didn't expand or increase. I was the head of our central creative team. So we were separate. We didn't have an in-house 10 years ago. And then we were a separate in-house team. So we had a corporate team, and then we had some business designers. And then they centralized us all. So I was head of that central creative studio. And then during this most recent reorg, we decentralized. So now we have the business creative in-house, And then we have our corporate creative in-house. And I'm very lucky to say that there was not a decrease in creative headcount across the organization, but just a reorg. I think each in-house agency has different models when it comes to the type of work that they might be producing. So some agencies are full in-house agencies. So they do high-level campaigns, strategic work, as well as the production work and the mid-level work and video. There's some agencies that only do the high-level strategy, and then they'll send out the production work. And there's some in-house agencies that will do only the production work and send out the high-level strategic work. So those are the three models that I would say are the backbone of where you need to start from. And then the second phase is, how do you want to be structured from a process and intake and project management standpoint? Some agencies will go directly, especially if it's just production, you can go from a marketer to production. If you are more that high-level strategic type of in-house agency, you have more of those account managers, project managers working with your business partners and collaborating together. And then you kind of have that mid-funnel where you're doing a bit of both, where you need both of the fast funnel type of work from a process side, as well as the white glove service from the account manager, project manager standpoint. My whole career that I've been in-house, the trends have definitely shifted. Now, and I think even continuing in the future, you can see a lot of strategic agency team members jumping from agency to in-house. And that really is ramping up the strategic lens of in-house agencies. And I'm part of a lot of in-house judging and agency judging award ceremonies, and being on those panels for the past 10 years, I've seen the work in-house just explode creatively. It has come from just a production, you're bringing in your in-house team because you need to lower costs, get that production in-house, which you still can. But now they're seeing we can also have a very strategic, high quality brand concepts coming from our in-house agency teams. And that's where I think you'll see the next trend. Like, I think the past 2 years, I've seen the work, and same with my other in-house agency leaders, I'm sure they'll say the same. The work these past 2 years has just been phenomenal. And I'm so excited for the future because it's just going to continue to grow. I think the increase has been that the individuals that would go to agencies are now jumping over. They're getting the experience at a young age at agencies. They're getting pushed in multiple different directions. They're getting stretched. And then they are jumping to in-house because they have that experience. And then now in-house is where you can have that stability. You can learn that one brand. You're not on the chopping block every day if a brand decides to exit. So they're coming to in-house to be more and not only have a safer space, but also have a happier space and to have colleagues that really enjoy being with one another and counting on each other. We just had a really great copywriter jump over from agency and he had been in the agency realm his whole life. And he just moved to in-house to us, and this is just a fresh of breath air. It's like anytime he jumps into a different agency, they just like throw him in the pool and they're like, okay, swim. And UL Solutions has a very rigorous onboarding process. We want you to know our brand. We want you to be part of our team. And that's where I think they're getting kind of that breath of fresh air of, all right, now I can enjoy life. Man, this is amazing. I get the excitement of an agency. You do have the creativity, and you can push those boundaries more than you can in-house. But I think as large as UL Solutions is, we have so many service offerings that we're almost an inside agency in itself. You could be working on a project one day and then work on a completely different project the next day. I've been at the company for 10 years and I continue to learn something new every single day. So that agency mentality, I think for the companies that are large, are seeing the benefits, and I think talent is also seeing the benefits of being in-house too. So that's where they're jumping more easier. I'm sure like many other in-house agencies, we don't have that competitive pay, but I think the quality of life after COVID, everybody's kind of changing what is meaningful to them. And so now with that shift, more talent is coming inside, and I just think that it's going to continue to grow, and we're going to see the creativity in-house just explode. We are doing at UL Solutions a few pilots for AI. And the impact for us will really be more content. The pilots that they're doing, they're not replacing individuals. They're just expanding the amount of content we can do. So instead of one white paper, and we can do one white paper, and then 20 other collateral pieces from that one white paper in a snap of a finger. And I think that's where it'll help us expand and increase our content going out, and we'll be able to continue to grow our demand there. I think my biggest advice to anybody thinking about starting an in-house agency is meeting with a few leaders across our span of amazing in-house leaders in our community to really understand the different models that are out there, because there's a bunch of them. And at UL Solutions, we've had to test a few models to really see what works. And I think it's really good to talk to other in-house agency leaders, see where they started, see where they grew, and just see different models and what might fit them best. Because it's not going to be apples to apples for everybody. And that way they have a few to choose from. I think we're all really open to having conversations and sharing our experience. And then that way they can kind of know what might be best for their industry demand. It's really around what content types you're trying to produce, how comfortable you are bringing in-house. So if you're looking at bringing media in-house or just your collateral production strategy, really getting a good idea of what you're looking to bring in-house, and then determining which structure and team size works best for you. I think the biggest resource for in-house and bringing teams in-house and learning who those leaders are is ANA's in-house agency committee. And all of our contacts are there, and they have an in-house agency fact book that is also a great resource. UL Solutions is listed there as well, and many other in-house leaders are there too.
I'd like to thank Mandy for taking the time to walk us through her experiences running and building in-house agencies. And if you're interested in expanding your own in-house capability, reach out to us at In.Studio. We're on the web at weareinstudio.com. We have a great group of in-house team leaders and creatives coming up in future episodes. Next time, Jeremy Jones, Global Head of Creative for Wink, MailChimp's cutting-edge internal creative agency. Until next time.